about in the next 10 minutes. So, yes, my name is Yemisi. Today, I want to talk about frozen assets in Canada. Frozen assets in Canada. When we gain admission to heaven, right? Bank accounts, your investment account, TFSA, FHSA, non-registered accounts are all frozen. With all respect, your accounts are frozen. Your loved ones might need money for rent, mortgage, funeral, whatsoever, but those accounts are frozen. So you need to be aware so that you do not actually cause a lot of unforeseen circumstances to even get so huge or cause a lot of unforeseen financial headaches or stress to your family. Okay, so I would be able to explain this as briefly as possible, not using any technical jargons. Assets are frozen in Canada, period. When you gain admission to heaven, I also gain admission to heaven by God's grace. What is going to happen to our assets? Nobody knows the day and time. Is it tomorrow? Is it next year? Is it in 20 years? Is it in 50 years? When we gain admission to heaven, the assets are frozen. Why? It has to be to prevent fraudulent activities on your bank account, to make sure that unauthorized access is not carried out on your bank account or all other investments. Then the next reason why assets are frozen in Canada is because of what is called tax liabilities. At at the point of death, CRA tells the dead person that you have disposed your asset at fair market value, called deemed disposition. This might trigger tax liabilities, right? And it has to be paid. And somebody would do the final taxes. We call them an executor. The third reason why assets are frozen in Canada is because there might be creditors. You might have relationship with creditors, you borrowed money here and there, and guess what? The creditors are after the assets so that they can get their money back. And also, legally, beneficiaries has to be paid um, based on your will and what you have written down in your will if you have a will written down. But there are some assets that will bypass probate. We have segregated funds investment do not pass through the probate system or what we call court system when the final taxes is being done. Your life insurance policy is not frozen. It's not frozen, it doesn't pass through that. So that is one of the reasons why you might need to set up your life insurance because it is a time dependent policy. The older you get, the more expensive life insurance gets. And it is one of the fantastic ways of transferring 1 million, 2 million tax free to your family, to your loved ones legally in Canada. Guess what? What can you do to prevent your asset from being freezed? Right. Name a successor owner. You can only name your spouse or your common law partner on your registered account. If you love your spouse, it is the right thing to do. When you name them as successor owner, it's super, it has so many benefits, right? Another thing you should do is apart from naming a successor owner can only be your spouse or your common law partner. Then you can add your beneficiaries, your kids, your friends, your family. You can actually add a charity organization as a beneficiary on your registered account. Okay, try and do these things. It's going to help your generation in the long term. Okay, let's assume Jane Doe has $350,000 in her TFSA and she gained admission to heaven. She named the successor owner, which is her spouse. The spouse takes over the TFSA and keeps on using the plan. Jane Doe has 350,000 in TFSA, for example. A beneficiary was named. This makes sure that the TFSA is transferred um, in a private case basis because estate assets are publicized, right? The child that is named as his beneficiary or whoever is the beneficiary receives the benefit quickly because it doesn't pass through the probate system. Okay, the account closes and post death growth can become taxable. Okay, Now, let's assume Jane Doe also has 2 million life insurance policy. This benefit is paid to the beneficiaries tax-free in Canada. And life insurance is not about the rich, it's not about the wealthy. Anybody can have a life insurance policy. If you can buy a cup of coffee, if you can buy a tray of pizza, take note, you can also set up your life insurance policy in Canada. I agree. Life insurance, a lot of people procrastinate about life insurance because they see that it is not something they need, it's not their priority. But life insurance is a wonderful way of passing tax free money to your loved ones, to your spouse, to your kids. It's one of the best ways to pass tax free money to your generation in Canada. Now, if Jane Doe has 350,000 in RRSP and she gained admission to heaven, what happens? If she had named a successor owner on that RRSP, the RRSP is transferred or rolled over to her spouse. If she was to name a beneficiary, herself has passed away, the spouse has passed away, or both partners have passed away and there's a beneficiary named on that RSP or TFSA, there are different ways these things are handled. So when you name beneficiary on your TFSA, the way it is treated in terms of taxes is a little bit different from how it is handled when you name a beneficiary on your RRSP. Okay, when you name a beneficiary on your RSP, you avoid the RSP being tied in the estate process or probate process that could take 9 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Is unpredictable and it's going to vary on a case by case basis on how complicated your assets or your liabilities are, right? You reduce delay when you name beneficiary on your RRSP. Okay, the designated beneficiary that you have put on your RRSP does not eliminate taxes on the RRSP, but it's better you put a beneficiary there because it helps the process to be faster. Yes, there are still going to be taxes payable on the deceased final tax return, right? Except it's a rollover, which is when you have named your partner as the successor owner, right? If Jane Doe has 2 million life insurance policy, guess what? It is passed to her loved ones tax free. So when you have TFSA RRSP, you will still need to consider life insurance because take a look at it. How long will it take you to invest and accumulate 2 million in your life insurance or invest and accumulate 2 million or 1 million in your RRSP? How long will it take you? But if you are to set up life insurance today and you are approved, right, anytime life happens, within 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 10 years, depending on the policy that you set up, 1 million, 2 million, $500,000 life insurance policy goes down to your beneficiaries tax free. You are not checking if it is performing at 5% or 20%. So far, it is a life insurance policy that has been well structured. You have that peace of mind that yes, your family will not need to do GoFundMe, they will not need to struggle financially. Yes, your life insurance policy is also important. I used to ask some of my clients this question. Let me see, I want to invest $20,000. What type of investment do you advise me to set up? Yes, you can do segregated funds, you can do mutual funds, you can do GIC, you can do ETF, you can buy shares, right? But I asked them this question. Yes, we have talked about investing and you're really interested in investing. But guess what? I have a very, very important question that I need to ask you. It is very offensive, but I need to ask you. So please do not take it personal. If you invest $20,000 today because that is your objective and life happens tomorrow, can it happen? We don't know, but is it possible? It could happen. If you invested 20,000 today, 100,000 today, and life happens tomorrow, then what happens to your loved ones? What happens to your family? Is 20,000 enough for them to pay the bills? Is it enough for your kids to go to school? Is it enough to pay the mortgage? So, life insurance is actually important. We call it financial foundation. Without a strong foundation, a house is going to get destroyed. That is it. If you don't have life insurance, you have $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 investment. Within 6 months, that money is tied, is frozen. Your family doesn't even have access to the investment that you have, because you have actually gained admission to heaven. So what happens is they do not have access to money. But if you were actually able to have TFSA, FHSA, and you also have life insurance, guess what? Your family have access to that life insurance when you gain admission to heaven, tax free, and then it's just a matter of time. Then your TFSA and RSP is also released to your loved ones. See, it is good to also plan for unforeseen circumstances, right? So now there is this case that happened to Gerald Cottins. It's in the news. It is not private information. It was all over the news. He had the passcode to a $250 million asset, but nobody was able to have access to it. And investors were all over the place over him, and they wanted their investment, right? At the end of the day, his wife had to forfeit 12 million in assets, including vehicles and real estate. She had she was only allowed to keep, maybe, I don't know, but based on the news, she was allowed to keep just 90,000 in cash, 20,000 in retirement savings, and a jeep. Then you see the other one she was allowed to keep. We didn't hear about the fact that he had a life insurance policy. He passed away at a very young age 30. So when I meet someone 25, 30, oh, I'm single, life insurance is not my priority. A you have a father or a mother, and you have your parents. Use them as beneficiaries, right? When you get married, you can simply just change beneficiaries. But the reason why you want to set up your life insurance, even when you're in your 20s or your 30s, is just because life can happen to anybody. It's not about gender, it's not about color, it's not about immigration status, it's not about religion. Anybody can pass away. And all the religion that I know, right, they also promote the fact that we should support, we should love ourselves, we should love our family. So if you know that if life happens today, your family would have to pay a mortgage, they have to pay for rent, your kids have to go to school, your partner is going to be worried, your partner is going to be financially in a hot spot, then you need life insurance policy, right? So it depends on your immigration status. For your immigration status, I always advise my clients, if you're a temporary resident, set up $20 life insurance. It's better than $0. It's better than zero life insurance. So if you can afford $50 life insurance as a temporary resident, it is a fantastic way of making sure if life happens, life can happen to anybody, at least something tax free goes to your loved ones, and there is no financial stress transferred to your loved ones. Okay, if you're a permanent resident or a citizen and you don't have a life insurance policy, but you have actually insured your blender, you have insurance on your car, you have insurance on your home, those things you can replace. A human being's life, once it's lost, cannot be replaced. My dad died 22 years ago and nobody has replaced him. I still remember him almost every day, right? So as a teenager, I lost my dad, and I know the benefit of parents having a life insurance policy in Canada, because it's going to make life easy for your loved ones. Very, very easy. So I hope you learned something today. So if life happens, you gain admission to heaven, all your assets are frozen. What do your family have access to? They have access to the life insurance benefit, which is paid to them tax free. It doesn't go through the probate system. And guess what? You enjoy heaven, and your family can also enjoy the tax free life insurance policy. Reach out to me if you have questions regarding TFSA, FHSA, RRSP, life insurance, or income protection plan. I hope you found value for your time today. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you.